that something is going to work out. So I finally emailed the right agency, and I got contacted back from the agent that represents her. Her agent's name is Josephine.
No.
Yes, and I was like, that's my sign. We're going to get them both.
Oh, I love that. You see, I love all those little stuff. I don't know where I'm going. I'm like a little dog making its bed, aren't I? Right. I'll be with you in a minute. Listen, I like your spot. Hello, darlings. Questions lining up for.
Hey, Katy. I just read an interview recently in The Guardian where you and some of the other companions were talking about clothes, and you said a lot of stuff of Joe Grant's came from the Biba store in the 60s and 70s.
Yes.
Was there any outfit that you really loved, and was there any outfit you really disliked?
To be honest with you, I love clothes. I seriously love clothes. And especially back then. And I did my very first modelling job for Biba because my sister, who was 5'11" and a top model with Eileen Ford ultimately in New York. But back then she was modelling in London, and she said, because Biba bought in the first size 4 and 6, I used to have to buy children's clothes and then kind of modify them. And so when Biba opened and they needed to do their first fashion show, I got to model their clothes. But as far as the clothes I wore in Doctor Who, I think they were kind of frightening. Also, they were totally not terrific for the cold weather that we shot in. I mean, they had to pour boiling water round my little suede Biba boot to unstick my feet that were frozen to the ground. All the blokes had long johns on, and and things. And there's me in this ridiculous little skirt. In the end, I actually wore blue stockings because that was the colour my legs went. Seriously, I spent so much of my life underneath John's cloak. But the thing about Jo was she was very much a girl of her time. So it was right that I wore those things. And the rings, of course, were mine when I actually was given the part of Jo Grant, which I will tell you one day about my audition, because it's very different to any other audition. And the rings were there because I used to bite my nails, so I used to wear a lot of rings to make my hands heavy, so I couldn't get into my mouth quickly. And that's the truth. That's where all the rings started. And they decided when they cast me that that was going to be very much a part of Jo. So there you are. Did I just answer your question, darling, or did I just talk?
No. You can talk all day, Katy. I just wanted to show you my third doctor.
Darling, you have to get closer, sweetie. It's like, I am Stevie Wonder. Oh, what a wow. Ooh, ah. Oh, hello, look at It's even got the nose. Which, when they brought out my action figures, you look stunning. I do love a man in velvet, don't you? Oh, is that what it is? I'm glad you... But no, I do. I remember when they first brought out my figurine and they bought me the prototype. And I took one look at it and I said, I look like a cross between John Pertwee and Roger Delgado's love child. I mean, truly. So they modified it. Hello, darling. I'm actually talking to a blank here, so if I'm aiming my eyes where I think you are. Hi. I've been doing that as an actress for a long time.
I'm the Oscar who was Jo before with Tiny Joes in my pocket. Hi again.
Hello. Oh, you've got the mini Joes in your pocket?
Yeah.
I know who you are now. I can't see you from here, but I know who you are. Hello, darling.
First of all, you look lovely.
Well, that's really sweet of you. She's wearing my glasses.
Second of all, I really enjoyed your episode of the Sarah Jane Adventures, and I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what it was like filming that episode, and maybe particularly about that scene where you and Liz are hugging each other in the coffin as scene, and if that was scripted or...
No, well, Russell said he and would have loved to have used the footage of what really happened in the coffin. Because in actual fact, you know, first thing we looked and I said, this is going to be like jumping a 5-bar gate. You know, I mean, you know, listen, it was a very high coffin. We had to kind of, well, of course, it was much smaller inside. There's this sort of a TARDIS thing going on here. It was much smaller inside than it looked, right? So basically, I jumped in, she jumped in, I jumped in. Lid comes down, lid comes up. I'm actually lying on top of her. I mean, in the most compromising position. It really was a whole new Doctor Who going on. The X-rated version, which of course, you can imagine, we were crying with laughter. And you know, but then they had to sort of get us out, so to speak, and rearrange us so that it wasn't quite so naughty. And so they rearranged us. But the whole thing was, and Russell said to this day, he said, the laughter, which had to be cut down to a minimum, they really, it was wonderful. It was a great moment for Liz and I, you know, to have that. It was joyous. I mean, it really, really was. It's something I will never forget, being in a coffin with Liz Sladen. Amazing. Absolutely. Hello, darling.
Hello. First of all,
Yes.
I was that other Osgood that got a photo right before. Oh, that's Osgood.
Oh, that's right. Now, you see, with all the Osgoods, darling, I mean, I get so confused, and then I see the scarf, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, is this a little Tom? Okay.
Well, first of all, I would love it if you came back. Don't think you're too old at all. But I had thought of, like, what if there was a series that was like Sarah Jane Adventures, only was animated? What would be your thoughts on that? And, like,
oh, I'll do anything that's animated. No, I think if they did something, because I think actually, in a strange way, Jo Grant Jones, you know, that's quite a story because she basically the great thing about Jo's character, you actually saw her grow up in front of your very eyes. She went in as this little tiny thing, this little token, you know, oh gosh, doctor, look out, there's a big one, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But doctor, and then you saw her slowly coming into thinking for herself and understanding, and, you know, also you could see she was the kind of woman, she laid down her life for the doctor on several occasions. But you could see that what she learned from him was he was sort of taking care of business in the universe. She wanted to take care of business on this planet, which is interesting because I did then, and I still do, very much so. And I think that was a, you know, lovely sort of way to go. And I think when you look at her life, and with the, you know, the 13 grandchildren, you could make a terrific story around all that, you know, saving this planet.
That's how I thought, like, if it was animated, you could go anywhere in the timeline.
Exactly, and it doesn't matter that you know, I can do it without the physicality. No, and I would like, something like that would be terrific. I would very happily do something, because I do think Jo was an interesting character, you know, that had quite a good life after, because she was of this planet, you know, so, yeah. I just have to tell you, I cut my own hair for that because I thought, do you know, this is the silly thing I do as an actress. I take it so seriously, and I thought, well, hang on. This woman hasn't been near a hairdresser in 40 years. So I got a pair of pinking shears, and I cut my hair. Because I thought that would be right for Jo. And then I got there, and I looked in the mirror, and I thought, Why did I do that? This is tragic. And there's Liz with this beautiful, you know, I thought, and there I've done it again, haven't I? You know, I can't help myself.
I didn't notice you were beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, darling.
I am a big fan of your work with Big Finish as well. And I'm just wondering what the difference is between the process of the audio plays and all the television and theater that you've done. When you get the...
Sorry, I should have had my afternoon nap right now. My brain's gone. So
basically, take us through the Big Finish process from getting the script.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Do you want to know how Iris Wild Time started? I got off a plane from Australia, which is about 28 hours flying. I walked into a studio where Gary Russell was waiting for me. And I said, what's this that I'm doing? He said, it's a character written by Paul Mars called Iris Wild Time. I said, well, okay, so I hadn't read the script, knew nothing about it. And I sort of quickly looked at it and I said, well, what do you want me to do? He said, oh, just do what you do. And Iris Wild Time was born. Out she come, hey, shock. And that was it. But on that particular, but quite often, you know, you do get to see them ahead. But you see, I read all the characters. I don't do them separately. You know, we all work differently. I don't do them separately. I do all the characters as they come in off the page, so they're kind of talking to each other. Because that's something I've done on stage on numerous occasions. So I know, and it's quicker, and you get a much better rapport between the characters if I'm being them all as they come off the page. We don't have a huge preparation. You get the script when you get the script, you know, basically, and you go in, and your job is to do it, and do it quickly and efficiently, because you're only going to have X amount of hours to do it in. You know, it's a bit like in my day when we were doing Doctor Who. If you weren't finished filming by 10 o'clock, the sprinklers went on. That was it. Bye-bye. So, you know, there is a time limit. You know, we don't have all the time in the world. So you have to be able to control and work your emotions, and you have to be ready. Sometimes, I confess, I have no idea. Some of the scripts I've done, I haven't even understood. Surely, there was one I did, no disrespect to the writer, called The Doll of Death, and I still don't understand it. But I have to do it like I do. Is that what you wanted to know, or have I just answered the wrong question? Because I'm good at that. Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, just one question also related to Big Finish. I know you didn't actually appear on screen. Did you consider playing Joe Grant alongside Tom Baker?
Did I?
Would you?
Oh, would I? I was going to say, did I? I'll play Joe Grant alongside anybody. I adore Tom Baker. I think he's wonderful. I've worked with Sylvester. I mean, I have loved, I'm working with Colin, doing the Wormery. I mean, was a sheer delight. Absolutely fun. It's really interesting, actually, working with other doctors, you know, the dynamics. And the lovely thing about Jo is she kind of, and Iris, they kind of fit in with any of them, which is lovely. But yeah,
I was thinking like the time period when Tom Baker was still working for Unit, and of course her character could have just left, but here it would sort of make sense.
I think you know more than I do. Did Tom Baker work with Unit?
A little bit.
Yes, he did, didn't he? Yeah, no, and
So you would consider it then?
sure, I would listen, absolutely, darling.
Like that ever been offered?
Not Tom, but as I say, I've worked with Peter Davidson, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, so I'm moving. But no, I would never say no. They're all such wonderful actors, it would be an honor to work with any of them. Absolutely. Hello, darling. I have to keep moving. I'm not very good at being still unless I'm playing a still character.
I wanted to know what your favorite TARDIS was.
My favourite TARDIS? Well, actually, I rather like the current one. I feel bad because I should say, oh yes, no, I like the John Pertwee TARDIS. I mean, I do very much like the one that's got, but I was talking to Peter Capaldi about this, and as I say, each Doctor comes in, they bring their own interior designer and do their 60-minute makeover. And, you know, the lovely thing about Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi was they take you around the TARDIS, and it is so real. They say, and this is what's here, and that's what there, and blah, 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 and they really do. It's become their home. It's absolutely, it's enchanting. But I think that the current one, but then Peter Capaldi said to me, I said, what would you do if I sent a 60-minute makeover team in? You know, what would you have? Because you all make it your own TARDIS. And he said, actually, he said, I'd like to go back to the simpler one with the big bumps on the side. So, you know, who knows? Who knows? I love them all, darling. I don't think I have favourites in anything.
Hi, again.
Oh, your little light. I can see your little light. There's a light over in the Frankenstein.
My dad passed away like 7 years ago, but I met you in the hallway. I'm the one that was in your
Oh, I remember.
hair.
Yes.
Yes. And
Your name is
that was my
Josephine.
dad's little secret. He was in love with you and Dr. Who, but he didn't want my mom to find out, so he just named his daughter.
I didn't want your mother to find out either.
And I have to say that one of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who is the Loch Ness Monster one, because I was probably about 3 or 4 when my dad showed it to me. So that was like the perfect time to show me that, you know, anything can be possible, and, you know, you never know what's going to jump out of the lake at you, or anything like that. And I was wondering if there was an episode of Doctor Who in particular that really stood out for you, that is like one of your first memories when you think back on it.
Well, you know, I obviously have to say on that one, every single episode, every day, something wonderful, different and extraordinary happened. You know, it wasn't just like one story after 3 years. Working with people like John Pertwee and so on, you know, it's an extraordinary, exciting, funny, learning experience, you know, and John and I, you know, as I say, we used to do voices together. We used to create all these incredible characters. But my very, very first day, I will never forget that. That's something that will always stay with me. And my very, very last day, where I thought it was wonderful that it was so emotional that we didn't use dialogue.
So hard.
And I think that really was so strong. The fact that we could play this whole thing with just looks. And that was the emotion, but can you imagine the emotion that was actually there in the studio as well? So I will never forget either of those times, definitely. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, Josephine. I didn't fell off the stage again. Do you know I did that once? I just quickly tell you. Shall I tell you how I fell off the stage, darling? I was doing a play at the Chichester Festival. I'm sorry, I just get sidetracked. Doing a play at the Chichester Festival. And I was playing this very uptight little school teacher. And I had to go and sit down on this beanbag. Those of you who know what a beanbag is. So I, you know, and off I went and I sat down on my beanbag. And the other actor, played wonderful actor, used to be in a low, came bounding across the stage and threw himself next to me on the beanbag. Well, I don't weigh very much, do I? I went up in the air and I landed right in this woman's lap. And I have no idea, I just looked up and I said, I think you need to get a bigger flat. Sorry, I just got something. Hello, gorgeous girl. Hello, because you come to my microphone, that's a silly one. you come and sit with me. There, now what was your question?
Was it fun for you to be on Doctor Who?
It was the most fun thing you can ever imagine. I mean, can you imagine being in it? Would you have fun? And you know what's lovely about acting? You get to play make-believe all the time. It's so fabulous. And you can be anybody you want to be. But you also have to remember, a lot of people don't know this about acting, but there are 3 things you have to have. And you have to have dedication, determination, and do you know what the most important one is? Discipline. I know. But it's a fun job. Do you think you'd like to be an actress? And would you like to be in Doctor Who? I think we're looking at the new Joe Grant here, right here.
We have just a couple of more minutes.
Then you can all go and have a lie down. Hello, darling.
I don't so much have a question for you, I have a gift.
A proposal?
If you want to take it,
I've never been married. Don't ignore Wikipedia. I have never been married.
I have a gift for you. There on the
You
table,
do?
I have these Doctor Who figures, and there's one of Joe Grant I'd like you to have.
Oh, wow. Oh, aren't they fabulous? Oh, there's a little Bessie. And a brigadier. Oh, aren't they wonderful? And they're all doing something wonderfully great. Oh, thank you so much. I just love the way he sings when he talks. I love that breath that just comes out with everything you say. You do not know, it makes my hair curl. Oh, thank you. That is too cute. Do you think a nose piercing of women? Thank you. Thank you. And one lonely little last person.
Hi, me again. Fairly recently on your Facebook page, there was a post about one of your older films called The Golden...
Facebook.
Yeah, there's a Katy Manning Facebook.
Yes, no, it is. I don't run it. I have to warn you here and now.
Okay.
I only tweet, sweetie. If you can't say it in 40 characters, don't bother.
I do love your Twitter.
The trouble is Facebook. Everybody gives you their entire life, you know. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but, you know.
No, I do. I do really love your Twitter. I have probably
What did it say? Anyway, I'd be really interested.
Anyway, there was an article about one of your older films called The Golden Road. There was a screening of it, and I would really love to see it. Do you know if it's available anywhere to see, or can you just talk about what that was like?
It was an extraordinary. They brought it back to the BFI a couple of months, well, a month or so ago. Which they discovered was a groundbreaking piece of television. And guess who directed it?
Douglas Camfield?
Yes, Douglas Camfield. Because when I left Doctor Who, I'd never worked on Doctor Who with Douglas Camfield. And I'll say this as gently and carefully, but guess what he cast me in the moment that I left Doctor Who? He cast me as a junkie in Target. And one of the first... you never know when there's children here. I don't know how to say things. Yes, a lady who liked ladies. I'm always terribly careful because I don't know what's politically correct anymore. You know, I'm too old to do politically correct. So it was an extraordinary way. So that's how he saw me. But it was an honour to play the role, and they brought it back because. In actual fact, they brought it back on the same day as the first same-sex marriage were having their first divorce and alimony. So, and the one that I did was the very first court case of who would have custody of the children when it was found out that the older woman was having an affair with the younger girl. I mean. So it actually was very groundbreaking television. It was a true court case. And it just shows we have travelled a little further in an area which I am very, very, very supportive of and always will be. So it's an honour to have been in it and to have been part of that. And yes, the Golden Road, my darling, and I'm sure, like so many other things, Man at the Top's now out on DVD, and a lot of the things that I did in the... And you know what's so weird? I know, he's doing a wind-up signal. Get her out, get her out. Get the trolley and take her off. Yeah, it was... They also brought out, I think, quite a few of those things that one's done in the past, you know. But what was interesting, I always thought, when you go and say, I took my daughter and my goddaughter to this thing at the BFI, and what was amazing, because I never watched myself, so I was petrified, I thought, oh, it's going to be that terrible old-fashioned acting. And in actual fact, it stood up absolutely solidly to today, and my goddaughter, who's like 20, said it was just amazing. Absolutely loved it. So isn't that nice? I was a modern actress, darling, thank goodness.
Well, that's a first for me at TimeGate. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you've had a great time.
I honestly, I cannot tell you. I mean, I love people. I think that you might have got that. I love people, I love Anne, I love so much. But coming here to this, and thank you for having the courage to invite me, is that the generosity of all of you, you know, the absolute love and affection, and that is what Doctor Who is all about. And as I say, without you guys, it just really isn't. And thank you for all the love and the support that you have given it for all the years that you have and for all the years that it's still going on. Thank you so much.
Katy Manning. And if you haven't got enough of Katy yet, we have another hour with her tomorrow, another Q&A, and then later in the afternoon tomorrow, we are doing a special session about the demons. We're going to do a little making of, show an episode. It'll be Katy and Louis Robinson, who was the film editor on that episode. So definitely be here for both of those things. Thank you very much. Oh, hang on, we got an announcement.
Hey, real quick, we added 25 more photo ops from Michelle Gomez from 3 to 4. They're about, 25. If you are interested, $40 of course, go to the TimeGate store, get your ticket, first come, first serve. Michelle Gomez photo ops, 25 of them for sale. And they're doing them right now.